Hey everyone, how are you? Thank you for joining this morning. No matter how many times I try to practice sharing my screen, it's like the day of it never works. So thank you for your patience. My name is Gina Brown, and I teach as of this year seventh grade Avid and eighth grade science, which I taught before at Heritage Middle School. So I'm really excited. We had a little kind of some news dropped on us that secondary ed is not using Google Classroom anymore. We're switching to Canvas. So I just kind of want to put that out there. If you're secondary ed and you're here, stay, because I've got a ton of app smashing. And Google Classroom's not going away. We're just kind of transitioning to Canvas. So I wanted to be super transparent because it is something that has come down kind of the pipeline very recently. So I remembered to put the slideshow in the chat this time. If you were with me for Flipgrid on Monday, thank you to those that popped it in there for me. And I was expecting to have Miss Grace Ekwu with me as my go-to girl to kind of tell me if I'm lagging and if there's any questions in the comments. So I will not be checking comments when I'm sharing my screen, but I always cut and paste comments over so I'm able to address any questions that I missed and kind of reach out to you. So please put them in there. But if I'm not looking at them and answering them, I didn't forget about them. I just can't look at them and share my screen at the same time. So I am looking at Miss Rachel M. Hi. So do you mind being my go-to girl if I am lagging like a ton? Just pop on your mic and say, whoa, girl, slow down. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So in the chat, y'all have the slideshow, which I'm going to share with you. I made sure on every single slide I put that bit.ly. So it might get annoying. You might be like, why is that on every slide? I'm just, anybody, if they pop in late, I want them to be able to join the slideshow. I also formulated a Google Doc. So it is the slideshow, but in Google Doc form, because I know there's tons of different learners. And then I just have a couple check-ins. Feel free to do them if you don't want to, they're not required. But it's kind of my double duty way to get you to try out some apps and just do a quick check-in. So on slides 3 and 4, there are the check-in. Slide 3 is Answer Garden, which is an awesome app that I love to use. And then slide 4 is Padlet. I know a lot of people know about Padlet, but they have a ton of new features, which is awesome. So I wanted you guys to kind of check that out. They have new screen recording right on it and a ton more features of things that you can add. So yeah, there's the slideshow. So if you want that, hop in and get that. And I'm going to share my screen. So I'll share it and I will kind of let it sit for a sec. So if you're like, she's talking, I don't know what's going on, it's because I'm trying to make sure my screen loads. Okay, and another thing I've kind of learned is I'm not going to make this screen big because when I present it, then it kind of lags a little bit as I'm switching. So I'm going to leave it on this view so you can still see the slides on the side. So welcome to getting the most out of Google Classroom, and I like to combine some app smashing as well because Google Classroom is really great with integrating with a ton of different apps. So if you go to bit.ly.summerintech1, and it is case sensitive. I noticed in my Monday PD people were having trouble accessing, and I apologize, I should have said that. So capital S, capital I, capital T, and then the number 1. And then at the bottom of the slide, there is my bit.ly for the Google Doc, bit.ly/wearegcisd1, and the W, A, and GCISD are capitalized. So here's a quick tip that I have done for both my slideshow. If it's pink, it's a link. So sometimes you underline stuff and it's not a link. So I tried to make it very clear because I jam-packed the slideshow with a ton of different stuff. So if it's pink, then it is a link. And if it's just underlined, I just wanted to emphasize it. Okay, Miss Rachel, how am I doing on my slide? Am I on 3? Or is it lagging a little?
Yes, ma'am, you're on 3.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Okay, so here's the check-in I talked about, the answer garden. So if you head to that pink link, the question is, what are you most going to miss about working from home? So, I mean, there's goods and there's bads. I know I'm going to miss my coffee. I'm going to miss my PJs. Let's do a quick check-in. And what's great about Answer Garden is as more people answer, the word gets bigger, and then you can hover over the word and see how many people responded. So you can kind of limit parameters, give them 3 or 4 words to choose from if you want to do a poll, or ask a question and give them kind of free reign. So Padlet, like I said, I know a lot of y'all have used Padlet, but it keeps getting better and better. All these apps are competing with each other, the Flipgrid, the Padlet, Jamboard. So they're kind of trying to one up each other. So it's pretty awesome. They've got a lot of new stuff. So if you want, I did a shelf mode, which was something that I learned. And you can ask multiple questions and it keeps it organized rather than just kind of having it go everywhere. And like I said, there's a lot of new features that you can add, like screen recording. So if you notice my second question, I did a screen recording as a response, which is pretty cool. So I will let it sit on slide 5 for a minute. So number 1, star the Google Doc version of this slideshow and the presentation. I would say try not to make a copy just yet because after the presentation, I'm going to add the video link for this. And I'll do the same thing on the Google Doc. And if I find anything in between now and then, I can kind of update it. So I would say just star it and then maybe next week make a copy so that way you'll know that I'm done kind of adding all the good stuff to it. So this is an action item. It is not required, but I would love for you to do it. So it's a Flipgrid. Flipgrid is a great way to kind of have student voice. And not only that, I was thinking for our Google Classroom webinar, this would be a perfect time capsule. So after the webinar, you kind of do what you got to do, go through your stuff, answer a couple questions on Flipgrid about Google Classroom, and then you can go to my.flipgrid.com and you can access your video anytime. So in August or next month, when you're like, what did I learn in that Google Classroom webinar? You can go back and watch your video. So it's awesome. And if you don't want me to share it, just tell me at the start of the video and I can keep it hidden so only I'll see it. And if you're new to Flipgrid, use this code to join. Okay, I'm heading to slide 6. And like I said, I'm just kind of letting it sit for a minute before I move on. So my name's Gina Brown. I'm teaching 7th and 8th grade science as of this year. And then now this year I'm teaching 7th grade AVID and 8th grade science. And I'm super excited. So thank you so much for joining me. I know it's summer and y'all don't have to be here. So I really appreciate your growth mindset and being a lifelong learner. So how am I doing with my slide, Miss Rachel?
Perfect. It's going immediately.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And guys, as always, this is really low-key casual. I honestly don't even know how many people are in here. So feel free to unmute, ask me a question. If I'm going too fast, you want to stop me, you are not gonna mess me up at all. So no worries. I have no script that I'm going off of aside from this. So the perfect trio, I like to think of it as a home base, Google Classroom. I post in Google Classroom every single day. It gets them on the habit. If you have some kind of platform you're using and you use this one a little and then this one a little, it confuses the kids because even though we like to think we're the only one, they have 6, 7 other teachers, coaches. So everybody could be doing different stuff, which gets kind of confusing. So I use this as my home base. Every single day I post, even if we're taking a test, even if there's no school, sometimes I'll say like Happy Martin Luther King Jr. Day, or just so that way it kind of gets them looking at their email and looking on Google Classroom. So the other part of the perfect trio is Google Slides. Obviously, it interacts perfectly with Google Classroom, and it's a really great way to present your curriculum, especially with remote learning. It's looking like it's the way that it's going to be for a bit. You can create a weekly journal from your slideshow and you can pop it in Google Classroom as classwork and the kids can kind of work from it and you can see it live. That's the best thing about anything in Google Classroom. If you make a copy for the students, then you can hop into that classwork section and you can see them working on it. There's been times that I've been up grading papers really late, and I've popped into their journal and I see kids up working on their journals. So it's really cool to have that immediate feedback. And then App Smash. App Smash is the last part to the perfect trio. A lot of different apps work well with Google Classroom. Okay, so now I'm going to get started in my Google Classroom walkthrough. I promise I'm not going to talk the whole time about the slideshow. So Google Classroom walkthrough, we're going to set up a class. We're going to invite students and families, and then we're going to practice the top toolbars. We're going to create announcements. We're going to do stream. We're going to do material, topics, things like that. And then I can show you how to archive your class and how to access your Google Drive from your class, which is really awesome. Now, I'm just going to kind of do a caveat. If I happen to miss any of this stuff, all of my resources have this stuff in it. And I even have a video, a few slides down of me walking through everything. So that way you like to sit, kind of think about stuff, process, you can go back. So don't worry. And then we're going to app smash. I'm not going to talk about these yet because that's towards the end, but each of these are live links. You can click on them and kind of explore all these different awesome apps that work well with Google Classroom. So if you are brand new to Google Classroom, welcome. Go to classroom.google.com and then you simply hit the little plus sign at the top right corner, and you can see on my slide, I kind of took a screenshot for you. And then you hit join class. And then you enter the class code 5B5NHA6. I would say even if you're on Google Classroom, join my Google Classroom. I made one specifically for summer in tech, and I'm popping all of the resources that we're using in there as well. So that's another spot for you to have them. And then it's cool to just play around. I won't mind if you go and comment on stuff. That's fine with me. So here is the Google Classroom code nice and big. So if you have your phone out, you want to snap a picture, write it down, or just type it into your join bar real quick, and then you can have it ready to go. So it's 5B5NHA6, and all the letters are lowercase. Okay, so I am going to do a couple more slides, and I'm going to hop into my Google Classroom. So a lot of people are curious about what parents see when they join Google Classroom. Unfortunately, they don't see everything. So you invite them and they can see your stream, so everything that you're posting daily, and it gives them a great overview. If you click on this video, I had one of my students add me as her parent, and then I can kind of show you what a weekly email looks like from them. Or if you have younger students and you're worried about them typing in the code, you can invite them via email. So in the video, I show you that as well, but you go to people and then you hit students and you hit the plus sign and you can invite from an email. It'll send them an email and then it will just kind of bop them right onto Google Classroom. Okay, so I'm gonna let this sit here for a minute and then I'm gonna open up my Google Classroom. So we are going to talk about setting up a class. If you're just joining us, welcome. Thank you for coming in. I'm so happy to have you. You can join at bit.ly/summerintech1. The S, the I, and the T are capital. So we are going to add a class, share a class code, change Google Classroom header, post announcements, create topics, link, reuse posts, copy archive classes, talk about how we can differentiate assignments, which is pretty cool, and then look at grading and recording, and then accessing and utilizing the Google Drive class folder. So let's explore. I'm going to switch to my Google Classroom page, so follow along with me. Please interrupt me with questions. This is low key. If you have a question, stop me and ask. And Miss Rachel, just let me know, because once I usually switch to Google Classroom or something like that, that's when it starts to lag. So I'm going to let it sit on my main page for a second. Can you see this, Miss Rachel? Is it caught up?
Yes.
Awesome. So here is your main Google Classroom page. Yours might look a little different. So it's classroom.google.com. So these are all my different Google Classrooms. I have one for each class period. I have one for my UIL listening skills group. And then even down here, I'm co-pilots. I think that's a Flipgrid term, but same. I'm a co-teacher on other teachers' Google Classrooms. So this is awesome because we share content. I can see what they're posting. I can kind of steal it. And then we can kind of all be on the same page. So that's really awesome. So this is the sample class that I created for my video that I have. So that kind of is why that's there. And then this is the Summer in Tech class. So let me go to my sample class to show you. I'm going to backtrack one sec. Right up here, this plus sign is where you would click to join a class, and then you enter the class code, or you can create a class right here. So if you hit create, it will open up a brand new one. So let's try that. So create a class. I'm going to do sample class 2, just so you guys can see it. And then the section is what shows on your screen. So if you want your class name and the grade level, you can manipulate it. You don't need to follow these titles. And then subject, I'm going to put in tech, and then room number, I'm in 406. So we're going to create a brand new class, y'all. Ready to go. So it takes a sec to load. And then once you're ready, you are able to get started. So there's no need to add students to upload because you just go like this and you make that code big and you put it on your screen, you send it out in an email, in a remind, and then they join and that's it. There's no uploading, exporting, typing in names, which is amazing. And then it's there and it's ready to go. So you can change your header by hitting this upload photo, and you can upload any photo that you want. You can make a Google Classroom header, you can search an image from Google, and you can add it. So you can do whatever you would like. So let me say, I'll go in here quick, and I know when I click around, it takes a little bit of time. So give me 1 sec. Okay, so sometimes you'll get this thing like this that will say the photo is too small. So if that happens, you just kind of have to keep kind of searching for another photo. So let me try this one. Fingers crossed. So this is a Google Classroom header format, so it's long and skinny. So if you don't have a long and skinny photo, you just have to kind of pick one from there. Okay, guys, so I can't get one, then I'm going to go, and I don't want to spend too much time on this, especially if my screen's lagging. So you can upload a photo. Sometimes it just gives you a little trouble about which one you pick, and then you just drag the bar to make it bigger. Like I said, I did that in my video for you. Or you can select a theme, which is awesome, and they're all already done for you. So you can pick from a content, and then you can just pop it up there. I love coffee, so I will do that one. Now you can set up a Google, generate a Google Meet link. So if you click this little button, it gives your class your very own Google Meet link, which is pretty awesome. So when they come in there, they can click on that and you can have that to access as well. So I'm going to stop for 1 second and just ask if there's any questions. If I'm going too fast, somebody just let me know.
Do we know if we're allowed to use Google Meet?
I believe so. I will look into that. So if you don't mind typing that into the chat, and then I will get back to you on that for sure. I don't want to say yes because I'm not sure. I've been using WebEx like everybody else, I'm sure. So yeah, pop that in the chat, and I will definitely find out for you. Thank you so much. Any other questions before we keep going?
Yes. On some of your other classes, it had like a GIF with it. Is that just what you upload on it?
Yes. So, like these ones?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, so what I did for that was I used a Google Classroom header, and I have that template in my Google Doc, and I just created this animation. So it's literally you copy the background 20 times, and it's like a flip book. Each frame you move the Bitmoji where you want it. And then you use gif.me, GIF maker. Let me pop it up. Pretty sure I have it saved right here. And then this gif.me, all you do is you kind of compile them all up, and let me get the right one. Yes, this one, GIF Maker Me. And then all you do is you save each slide, which is kind of a pain in the butt. You have to save each slide as a JPEG, and then you upload all the images here, and then it makes a GIF for you, which is very cool. And then you upload that exactly the same way into your Google Classroom. So you would go here and you would hit upload photo. And then you would go here and you would do that. So I'm actually going to do that since there was a question. I didn't want to take too much time in case there wasn't. So I have my completed scenes, and then I have all of these kind of GIFs. So I think this one is not a moving one, but it's the same aspect. And then this would actually be moving. You'd actually see the GIF moving behind, and then you would go and drag this. You have to kind of click off the screen and then update. It always has this kind of gray tinge over it. I think Google's trying to work on it because there's a lot of people complaining about it. So you just kind of try to keep your colors light. But yeah, you can add any type of GIF animation, and you use this gifmaker.me, and then you upload images, and then you select each of the ones you want to upload. So I typically make a brand new folder just with those 20 slides or so. I think the one that I made was 45 slides. So that's a little extra. You don't got to get that extra. And then I have it here, and then I highlight them all. It bops it into here, and then it animates the GIF. And you go to create GIF animation, and then you download it, and then you can upload it from there. I hope that answered your question.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
You're so welcome. Okay, any other questions? Feel free to interrupt. Otherwise, I'm gonna kind of get going. Got about a half hour left, which is awesome. So here is the main screen for Google Classroom. So you have 4 options across the top. Notice how it says sample class 2 and my class period. It does not show my subject, I think, and my room number. So you can kind of pick what you want to show there. Now, stream is what I upload or update every single day. I post a brand new assignment every day. So you can start from scratch, and you can post a brand new post here. I always do that. And then I always like to have a do now. So what I do is when my kids come in, there is something that they're working on right away. It gets them in, it gets them seated, and it gets them started. And then they get in that habit, and they come in, they see Google Classroom on the board, they get their computers out, and they get working. Plus, it makes them really experts at this. If they're using it every day, they become really familiar with it. So let's say that's my do now, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I always like to have a classwork section, which I kind of have the 3 or 4 things that we're doing. And then I also like to say what the links are. So let's say I'm going to add 3 links to this. I always like to say link 1 is this, link 2 is this, link 3. So these are usually my directions for me and my directions for the kids. I have this popped up on the screen, so it kind of keeps me in check as well. So you have a ton of options for adding. You can add stuff straight from your Google Drive. You can add a link, you can add a file, or you can add a YouTube video. So let's get started. I'm going to show you one of each. And I will kind of pause to kind of let my screen kind of load for a minute before I click. So you can go into here. I'm always nervous about what's going to pop up, y'all, when I do this. So these are all my recent YouTube. So I have my webinar initial comments. I like to generate what I put in the chat before I start, so I'll put that there. So let's pretend that this is the text page that the students are going to annotate in text code. I never get mad about me slacking off in word processing until it's a moment like this when I am on display typing in front of everyone. So text page is link 1. And then, like I said, I always like to say what link it is, so that way the kids kind of keep on track. Then you can add an actual link. So let me paste this. Oh, it's the Flipgrid one. Awesome. So I'm going to go and get rid of this. And then you can add a link. And now the cool part is it is a live link. So it pops it right up. It shows you what it is. And the kids can click right from there.
Nokoria Bailey. Are you checking out right now?
About to.
I thought you guys were talking to me. Okay, so.
Okay. Well, I have to talk to you about Nokoria Bailey.
Okay.
Just get back to me when you can.
Maybe mute her. You have the ability to, Gina.
Yes. Oh gosh, y'all, I don't know how to do this. Is it better now? Okay, they're stopped. Okay. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not super good with the muting part. Okay, so back to here. Files. So you can add a file directly from your computer. So let me put, these are all my GIFs and stuff that I do for my pages. So I can add that file, my Bitmoji lab scene, and then I can even add a YouTube video. So let me practice with adding a YouTube video. So you can either find the YouTube video and add it as a link, or if you want to search straight from YouTube right in here, you can do that as well. So let's stick with the Bitmoji, and I will search a Bitmoji how-to video. And then it takes a second, then you have all these that come on up. So those are my 4 links. And like I said, in classwork, I would typically have maybe 5 or 6 steps, and I would say what the different links are. Now you have a couple different options here. You can share it to as many classes as you want, which is spectacular. Work smart, not hard. So if I share it to my 8th grade classes, I can do that. And if I just hit post down here, it will post it to all of those classes. Here's the one catch that I'm hoping that they're going to work on, but I don't know if they actually can. If you want to schedule your post, which I love to do because I like to get all my stuff set up and ready to go, you can only do it to 1 class at a time. But there's another way to get around that, so I will show you. So let's say I want to schedule this. I go down here, and instead of post, which will post immediately, or I can save draft if I'm not sure I want to use it, what it does is it pops it up here somewhere in the top. So let me show you that. So if I hit it as save draft, it loads and it keeps it right up here in the saved announcements. So sometimes y'all, I'll have like 10 or 12 save announcements. I keep them there in case I ever need them. I know where they are. Or you can delete them and you can reuse posts also. When you're ready to use it, you just click on it again, boop, and there it is. So to schedule, you go here and you go to schedule, and it always generates like the next day at 8 a.m., but you can change it. So let's say I want this to go Monday of next week, and I want them to have it for my early risers. I can do 7 o'clock, and then I can hit schedule. It puts it in exactly that same spot, saved announcements. You are not locked down to this. So if I decide, you know what, I actually would rather them start a little later, then you can change it, and then you just hit schedule again, and it saves it. Or let's say I realize I don't want it scheduled at all. I can go here and then I can just X out this scheduled button, and then it's there live, ready for me to go. So let's say I want to share this to a couple classes. I'll pop this in my 3 classes you can see to show you what it looks like. So it always asks, do you want to post immediately? Say yes. Sometimes it will ask if you want them to make copies. You always say yes, just so that way if there's limitations on who can access it, will make a brand new copy for them. And then up here, it tells you your slide is updated, and then here it is. And then I can go right in here, and I'm going to go do this a little slower because I know it lags when I do this kind of stuff. It opens up each of the documents. So there's my webinar comment. Here's my Flipgrid, and it brings you right to the Flipgrid site, exactly where I want you to go. So it'll bring you here to have you log in. And I'm going to X out of this stuff right after to kind of keep my screen clean. And then there's that Bitmoji one. That was the link that I added. And then here's the YouTube video. And it pulls it right up here so you can watch it right in this screen, or you can bop it out and make it bigger and you could watch it somewhere else as well. And then to get out of it, you just go over here, or you can use these arrows and you can view all of the attachments for that specific post. You can go up here, you can open each of them in a new window, and then you can open it with Google Docs, download it however you want. So once you put it on here, the kids really have access to it however they would like. The cool part is if I go over to my In Tech class, it did the same exact thing in my In Tech class, which is awesome. Now, let's say I wanted to schedule my post. Remember I said you can only do 1 class at a time. So I'm going to delete this to pretend it's not there. So notice how quick and easy that was, the 3 dots, delete. And if I go up here, I already did the post in one of my sample classes, and I want to reuse so I can schedule. So if you just click what I did, that's a brand new post. So I'm going to X out of that. You click this little refresh button, and then it lets you pick any class that you want to use from, and you can put it anywhere. So that is awesome. So it takes a sec, y'all, because I have a ton of stuff on my Google Classroom. So now's a perfect time if anybody has any questions, feel free to interrupt me. Otherwise, I'll just wait for it to load, and then I will show you how to reuse a post, which is, I mean, it's amazing. Because I spend a lot of time on my posts because I like them to look neat and be easy to read. So I'm going to try it one more time. There we go. So it was much better the second time. So if I go to sample class 2, which is where I had that post, there's only 1 post because that's all I've done. Normally it's filled. And then there it is. I hit it and I hit reuse. And then we'll pop it right back on there. You still have the opportunity to edit it. So like, let's say you want to differentiate for another class and I don't want them to see this Bitmoji classroom thing because they don't need that. And instead I am going to add a file. I'm going to add recent. And I'm going to add my WebEx home screen. And then from here, you can post it just to that class. Or if now this is a version that you don't want to schedule or you want it to go to multiple classes, you can do the same thing up here. You can even differentiate by students, y'all. So you can push out stuff to particular students. So let's say you have 2 different posts to differentiate and you want yours to go to these. Oh my God, y'all, look at all my people joining the class. This makes me so happy. So I can post just to those 4, and then I can hit post, and then I can reuse the post, delete some of the links, put my modified copies in, and then go back in and send it out to the students that need it. So that's pretty awesome. Otherwise, it just always populates to all students, and you're good to go. So I'm going to post that one too, just so you guys can see what it looks like. And then there it is. It's ready to go. Okay, so I'm going to keep going, but please interrupt me if you have questions. So now you notice that I did these ones at the bottom of the screen as a material post. Google Classroom is really good at differentiating visually what you're posting. So if it's a stream post, it has my picture, my name, and it looks like this. If I'm posting a material or an assignment or a topic or a quiz, it goes in this gray bar, and each of these icons looks different. So this is the materials icon. Okay. Up here is the gear, and that's where you can do this stuff when you initially set up if you want to change your name. You can't change the class code, but it's there for you. And then there's just a few other options that you can kind of look through. So now I'm going to go to classwork, which is my favorite part. So classwork is, I've especially used this a lot during remote learning. So each week I assign, with the help of my science team, we've all created this great digital journal. Miss Wayman started it off, and then we all jumped on board and kind of put our own touches on them. So I am going to show you in one of my actual classes. So let me go to my period 2 science class. And I'm going to let it hang out here for a sec. Notice how I have 3 announcements just chilling, drafts that I've done that I haven't used. And I can always get rid of those to kind of freshen up my page if I have too many of them. And then you can see, I'm not going to scroll too much, but for remote learning, we were told to do kind of like once a week. So you notice those dates are different. So I posted about once or twice a week, and I would post what we were working on and then the assignment. So notice how if I scroll down, you can also change the color scheme when you do themes as well. So that's why these ones are orange. So this was the assignment. I have multiple ways I can access this. I can click this right from here and it will bring me it. Or I can go into classwork and I can see all of the classwork that I've assigned for my students for the year. So you notice, like I said, I use classwork a lot for remote learning. So let me show you a couple different things. Look at my time. So I'm going to go to my week 10 science journal. If you click on this, it brings you to this little part. You can view the assignment. I can see that 15 of them were graded. And then at one point it said 12 turned in, 3 assigned. The 3 assigned means they haven't started it yet or turned it in. So let me view that assignment. Y'all, this is the best. I am hoping, I know Canvas is going to be just as great, but I really love Google Classroom. So these are all the journals that I've assigned to my students. Notice how I graded them. Don't judge me. This was week 10. It was the last week. I was very lenient with my journal grades. So you click on this and it will bring you to that student's journal. So let me show you instructions first. So I attached the journal. I made my own copy for each of them. That way they worked on their journal. It was just their stuff and I could see it. Each week I would record a Screencastify video, which you can also upload as an attachment on Google Classroom. And then I had, I don't even know what that is. So I always do like a YouTube version of my Screencastify and then a Google Doc version just in case people have trouble accessing them. So now here, if I go to edit, as I think of things, y'all, I try to kind of talk about them so that way I don't forget. So here is the post. All you have to do this is you simply go to, hop around real quick. You go to classwork and then you go to create, and I'll let it sit here for a sec. I always create an assignment, but you can create a quiz and it will populate a Google form for you that you can work from, or you can create your Google form separate and attach it as a link. Material is what I posted on our Google Classroom, just kind of things for you to look at. And then you can also reuse assignment posts as well here. You can create new topics, which is what I did here for my remote learning at home, biomes, food chain, and first week. So let me create a super quick one just to show you, and then I'll show you the meat and bones in my other one. So sample, instructions. See what I'm talking about, my word processing skills, y'all? And then add. Let's say I'm going to add a link. I still don't know what I have. You know what? I'm going to add this journal so I can show you. And I'll let it sit here for a sec because I know when I bot back and forth, it goes slower. Miss Rachel, how am I doing?
We're on the part where it says add link.
Awesome, thank you. Yes, so that's really good. Okay, it's not too bad. So you hit add and then I hit add link and then it will add the journal. Here is the important part. And if you are kind of doing other stuff, looking through, just kind of pause for a second, take a look because this is huge. So students can view file. That's awesome. It's something that you want them to look at, take notes from. That view file is perfect. If it's something you want them to work in and you can keep track of it, you want to hit make a copy for each student. And that is going to give you what I'm about to show you next. So make a copy for each student. Then I can go in here, I can select which classes I want it to go to. Same thing, work smart, not hard. And then I can differentiate, y'all. I can do all students. Let's say I want these few students to have something else. I can take them off and notice how it brought me back down to 12. Or if I click them all, then it says all students. So like if you kind of know how many kids you have, this is my first period of the day, so it's a really small class. My classes are all not 14 kids. Then you can kind of pick which kids you want it to go to, which is awesome. We want to access curriculum and have curriculum for all learners. So this is a great way to do that. Guess what? You can schedule, you can save it. So let's say I want this assignment to go out, but I don't want it to go out till tomorrow morning. I can schedule it for tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon. Now, I'm not done with that. I accidentally clicked out of it. No big deal. It's right in my saved. I can open it back up. Now, you can add a due date. I love, even if you're not gonna like keep it as a due date, I like this because it tells you which kids turn it in late. And I like to kind of catch up with those kids and say, how you doing? Do you need any help? So I always attach and I always put it as 11:59 p.m. Topic. This is where you can create a brand new topic. So if I want to create a topic, I can call it Summer in Tech, and it will create that topic for me. And if I hit schedule, then it pops it back into my kind of sample. So I actually want to unschedule this so that way we can see it immediately. And then it takes a sec because my journal's a little cumbersome. And then it will pop it up there and it will load it right there for you. So I can see that I assigned it. Y'all, I hope my kids are going to be getting this journal again or this slideshow. They're going to be going, no, Miss Brown, school's done. So it has this right here for you. You can view assignment and it has all of these journals that pop up right there. It says that they're all assigned. And once the kids start working on them, it kind of gives you a progress. So let me open this up to show you what it looks like. And I might actually want to open a real journal. So I'm actually going to go back and I'm actually going to open a real journal for y'all to see. Okay, here we go. So right here, you can view the assignment or you can just double click on that orange bar. And then here is the student work. So I'm going to click on this and I'm going to show you guys what I did or how I do this. So I stay on the screen. I do not move out of it at all. I'm not bopping back and forth. It's very efficient and it's very quick. I hit these buttons up here, the little arrows, and it brings me to my next student. Or I can click this drop down and it will show all of my students and what their grades were. I can hop to a different student on the list. I can organize it by first name, last name. And then guys, I can even organize it by if they've turned it in, if they're done, all sorts of things like that. So what I do is I go through their journal, slide by slide on the side. Obviously, I'm not going to do this with you. I'm just kind of walking you through quickly what I do. And then I make sure that they have the work done. So right here, he had typed in that stuff. Let's say he didn't. Let's say I say like slide 11 needs a little work. And then I always do some kind of, you know, I still love you, but you got to work a little harder. And then you can post that. I'll make sure to email him after, no worries. And then it gives him a comment that he can see right on his thing. Sometimes I'll even see their little icon and they'll be on there working on it, which is super, super cool. And then if I hadn't already graded it, like let's say I want to give him a 90 instead, and then I can hit return and it will send it to him as that grade. And then I can scroll down, I can see all of the slides. And then if I hit this little down arrow right here, show menu, I can even see like when the last edit was made, how long did he work on it, how long did he spend on it. So I can see he was working at 6 o'clock in the morning, at 8 o'clock at night. So this is also another really great feature because it lets you know, are they really working on it? What are they doing? And then to get out of it, you just go to this and then you hit that arrow back and it will pop you back to this main screen. Then I can go to my next student by simply hitting this next button and it will bring me to my next student's journal and I kind of work through them there. If I do this drop down, I can type grades right into that drop down. So let's say it's an assignment that we worked on in class and I walked around, I already knew they did it. I can just go in and I can just grade it right from here as well. Okay, so I'm gonna hop out of that and I'll let my screen load for a sec. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to jump in.
Gina, I have a question. You had in your journal, you had the red box in the right-hand corner. Is that option, does that read to the kids or is that they record themselves?
Oh, thank you so much thank you. I have stuff I don't even know what to talk about. Thank you. Yes. So on my Google Doc, I have a video and a document about how to add audio to Google Slides. So yes, that is what I did. So on my original journal, let me see if I can, sorry, I have a light over my screen. So right here, if I want to add audio to this slide, can everybody see Ready to Explore?
Yes.
Yes.
So if I go to Insert, Audio, then I can insert my audio clip. It's a little bit more difficult that you go to Cloud Audio, which is super easy. You hit record, you talk, you hit stop, you hit upload to drive, and then it uploads it to the drive. And then I pull it right from this drive, and then it pops the little icon in the corner. So what I did is for every takes a sec for me to start. Of course, this is not going to work, the one that I picked to play. Okay, let me go to this one. Yeah, I don't know if it's not letting me play, guys, because they definitely work. So each of those has my voice reading through the slide. So I love to do that. Like I said, I like to access all learners. And then I even do my Screencastify video that has my mug walking through the journal, much like I'm doing with you guys. Not sure why those aren't playing, but they do work. Any other questions before I move on?
I have a question. If you put a comment in for one of the students and you post it, is there a way to unpost it or change it?
Yes. So let me go to Omar's journal. Oh, I already had it opened, I think, right here. Let me go back to Omar. So if I go here and I click on the comment, I don't think that there's a way for me to change it. So like once you send it, it kind of goes there. But you can always do kind of a revision comment after, oops, sorry, I meant slide 10. But no, you can't, as far as I know, edit comments once they're there. Unlike if I right click and do leave a comment, these comments I am able to edit. So if that makes you feel more comfortable, and I do this on each, like I go through and I say slide 11, slide 10, and then over here I say, don't forget slides 11, 10, 9. So I typically comment over here on the side first. And then it's great because it shows you right here that there's one comment on this slide. So if I'm going through, I'm able to quickly check and see how many things that he missed. And this one, if you right click, you can edit this one. So if that makes you feel more comfortable, do these ones. and then have this one be like a great job, needs a little more work. I hope that answered your question.
Can you show us again how you got the slide comment to show up? I'm sorry.
Yes, ma'am. So you right click and then it's right here, the comment, or you can do Control Option M. So I'll leave that hanging there for a sec, but if I do Control Option M, then it also pops it up brand new as well. And then you can do that on each slide, Command Option M, or right click, comment. Like that. And then notice how each one, and if I add another comment, so I saw a lot of people that do this to actually grade. They make a comment for everything that they missed and put the point number. And then when I go back, I can see that they missed 2 things here, 1 thing here, nothing here. And then when I give him his grade, I can give him a 97 because he missed 3 points. So it's a quick kind of easy way for you to grade. And I loved this because then I would just go down on the side and I would say, oh, he missed slide 2. And I would go over here and I would write slide 2, comma, up, he missed slide 4. And then I would go back and kind of do that. So it was a great way for me to grade quickly and easily. Any other questions? Okay, so I got about 5 more minutes. I'm gonna scoot through this other stuff, but interrupt me, please. I can always hang out a minute longer if I need to. So right here, I wanna change this back to 100. So notice how I just went over on the side. Let's say Amin, I think I graded everybody's. So Zoe didn't turn hers in. That's not a problem, but like sometimes kids forget to turn in their assignment. You can still see it, which is why I love Google Classroom, because sometimes kids do it and they forget to turn it in. So then I just sent Zoe a little message and said, hey, remember to turn your assignment in next time. And then I can grade them all and then I can return them. It's not gonna let me return it because I didn't change a grade. So notice now that I changed Omar's to a 90 and then I can hit return. I'm not going to, because he did earn 100. And then you can do the same thing. All students, I can give them 100. I can send it out, and I can have it be ungraded as well. Okay, let me hop quick to parents and people because I don't want to forget this part. So people, this is where all your students and your teachers live. So remember I was talking earlier about co-teachers or co-pilots. I'm Gina Brown, Charity Wayman, and Kat Gordon are my co-teachers. We don't teach in the same room, but we teach the same content. So why not share? Have it out there. I love this because I love my girls and we like can reuse each other's posts. Sometimes one of them will do a cute post about something and I'm like, oh yeah, there is a pink moon. I totally forgot about that. So then I reuse their post. So I really like that. You go to this ad and you can type in anybody's email. So I'm gonna, let's say Miss Schultz, she's my 8th grade person. There we go. So I can add her and then I can hit invite. And if I invite, she will get an email that says that I want her on my class, which is pretty cool. And then down here, these are all the students that joined my class with my code, or I emailed them and they came into my class. You have a ton of different options. I can click this checkbox and I can email all students at once. So rather than through Skyward, I can send an email, hey y'all, journals are due next week, get them done. And then I can attach a Flipgrid short to that email, little pep talk. I can remove these students or I can mute these students. If I mute the students, then they're not able to kind of complete any work in Google Classroom. Notice how I have all these guardians. This makes me so happy because all of these parents know what's going on in my class. They're all getting weekly, daily emails, and they're all able to kind of check in with their kids and see what's going on. So to do that, this is to invite a student like I showed you before, and you can type in the student's email and then they'll get the code. Or once the student is on your class, then you go to these 3 dots and you invite guardian. So if I go here, I can invite, for example, me as my Gmail, and then I hit invite, and then I'm gonna get stuff for Omar's class. That's also a great way for you to kind of see what the parents get, so you can kind of change how you do your stream to make sure you're maximizing what the parents are seeing. And then I believe if you want, you can just remove the guardians. I don't want to do that because I'm scared I'm gonna remove all. That's the only option I saw. Remove guardians. Oh, sweet. And then I can go here and I can just check just me to remove. So that's awesome. And then grades. This is the great part. So I recently just discovered this, y'all, because I would just record my grades and I would never even look at this last tab. And then I realized it does it for me. So it has my class averages on all of my assignments. It has all my students, and then each column is a different journal that I gave. So I can easily see that this student was missing a couple journals, that for some reason these were not assigned to him, which means I had modified assignments that I passed out to him. And it's just a really quick, great, easy way to record your grades and have them. You can sort by last name, all that jazz. And then if I actually go here and I click on this, I can change it from there, or I can go right up here and it brings me to that exact journal. So that's a really great one-stop shop to grading and keeping all of your stuff organized. Okay, so I have about 5 or so minutes, I believe, 9 minutes, yay. So if you guys have any questions, please feel free to interrupt. Otherwise, I'm just gonna kind of go to the end of my slideshow and make sure I didn't miss anything and introduce you guys to some apps that you can try after this. So feel free to interrupt. Otherwise, I'm gonna finish up. So slide 15, if you need time to process, this right here is a YouTube video of me walking through Google Classroom. I recorded this in Flipgrid screen recording. So I wanted to do this to show you guys that you don't just need to use screencast, you can record in Padlet 5 minutes and Flipgrid up to 10. So please, if you still have any questions, pop it in the chat, send me an email if you don't want to kind of say it in front of everybody, or at 11 o'clock, I'll stop and I'll hang out here if people have more questions. If you didn't try the Padlet, check that out. It is awesome. So here's one thing that I love to do with Google Slides. I love to do hidden links. I think it's super cute and it gets the kids kind of, you know, looking for something, and it kind of perks up their brain. So what I did was I created this slide, and then I went to File, Download as JPEG, and then I saved the slide. Then I went to background of my slide and I choose that image that I just downloaded. So I browsed it and I uploaded it. This way it sets it as the background, and notice nothing, none of these things move. So then I have my hidden link. So all I did was I wanted one on the sun. Let me show you how I did that. I went to select a line, scribble. I did a scribble over wherever I wanted it. Then I go here to transparent, and then I Control K or right click and link, and then I insert whatever that link was. So that brought me to a link to slide 14. So now when I go, you can't see that transparent part, but the kids can kind of find it in Click, which is pretty cool. So once again, I went like this, and then I went to, it's not gonna let me do it again, but I went there and I did the link. Awesome, I will do it one more time right here. And then right click and you can link. I can't find it. Sorry about that. Okay, so there are 3 live links here, here, and here for you guys to test out ThingLink, Jamboard, and Ziteboard. So ThingLink, I'm not going to talk about each of these. I just want them there for y'all to go back and play around with. If you have questions, I am not an expert by any means on any of these. I'm just trying them out, but I will be more than happy to learn with you. So ThingLink is great. You can have an image and you can pinpoint. The kids can kind of explore a map, explore a town. They can have an image that they can pinpoint and upload videos, upload documents. Very cool. Jamboard. I love Jamboard. So Jamboard, I have options on my Google Doc for you to try this exact Jamboard right here, this Freshy Fresh Jamboard. Or you can access any of these. Notice how they're all live linked. Remember, if it's pink, even a pink border, it's linked. And feel free to add to my other Jamboards. These ones, they're already done. The kids are off them. So if you want to mess around, that's cool. Some of my kids even open up their own Jamboard. So rather than posting like everybody else did on this, they do their own page and they do their Jamboard. So that's another option. Ziteboard. Ziteboard is so cool. It's like Jamboard, but it's infinite, y'all. It goes on forever in every single direction, and you can make it bigger, you can make it smaller. So check out right here and you can kind of explore Ziteboard. Answer Garden, this was my Answer Garden from Monday's session. just to kind of show you what it looks like. Pear Deck. Pear Deck is something new I just discovered and I love it. I didn't want to jam this presentation. I originally had a Pear Deck for you guys to answer, but it was too much. So if you want to try my Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts, which do you prefer? Go to join Pear Deck. You can either click right here, or you can do joinpd.com and then you type in this code and you can walk through. Pear Deck is great because it implements it right into your current slide and then it bops them to another website where they can answer and then you're able to see the data from that, which is very, very cool. Here's the Padlet. Check it out. New features to test out. Don't forget to star my Google Doc. Don't make a copy yet because I might change around a little bit. And then here are some things that Google Classroom is perfect for: communication, student portfolios, staying organized. Please don't forget to record your Flipgrid. I would love to hear your feedback for me. And I would love for you to make a time capsule about some things that you're looking forward to using, maybe some goals you have to implement for the future. And then tell me what you're doing for the summer. I'm curious what everybody's doing. And then share your learning. That is what learning is about. We don't want to keep it. We want to be lifelong learners and have a growth mindset. So we want to pass that along to make everybody better. So if there's a friend, a colleague that would benefit from this, send it. It's my PowerPoint, but I want it sent out as many places that can be sent. So thank you so much. Please follow me at Getting Kicks in 406 on Twitter. My email's there. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out, email me. And right here, which is why I'm saying if you want to star this slideshow, I will come back and I will pop this recording into here so you have a one-stop shop for everything that you need. Enjoy your summer. Don't forget your Flipgrid. And I use Slide Mania to make this PowerPoint. So if y'all have any questions, I'm going to try to unshare my screen and return back. This feels so weird. I don't know if I will ever get used to talking to a screen. It's definitely very bizarre. Okay. So you guys still see my screen. It's taking me a sec to share, but I will hang out here to answer any questions. Are there any questions burning that people have right now? Okay, so thank you guys. I will hang out here for a few minutes. You guys fill my buckets each and every day. I'm so thankful and so happy to have you. And yeah, enjoy your summer. Bye, y'all.
Gina, I just had a quick question for you.
Yes,
Thank you so much. I appreciate learning from you this summer. It's been wonderful. My quick question was, I typically try to use Google Classroom just kind of for my parents teaching first grade. They're obviously not as easy to maneuver around, but I love sharing links through it just because it's easy for the kids to click on it. Typically, when you start a new classroom, do you just go in and delete those kids' names and then give them the same code the next year for your class periods so that you can save your work, right? That's what I've been doing, but I didn't know if that's a best practice.
So I like to archive my classes. Do you know how to do that?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
That's what I typically, I do a brand new class every year for each new class period, and then I archive the old classes.
So when you archive the old classes, do you still have the work saved in Google Classroom where you can pull it in there?
Yes, let me pull it up right now just as you're talking because I want to double check. But I'm pretty sure that you are even able to post from archived classes. Yes.
Oh, okay.
So like I have my screen open right now and I hit the little refresh and I archived one of my classes, but I am still able to post from that archived class.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. I will probably start doing that then. Thank you.
You're so welcome. And y'all, I'm here for a couple minutes. I'm just going to be kind of copying and pasting my chat over to a Google Doc so that way I can make sure that I answer anybody's questions. So feel free if you are waiting for me to end the meeting. If you just give me a couple minutes, I will, but you can feel free to leave, or I'm here to answer your questions. Thank you guys so much. Hey y'all, Gina Brown here. So this is part 2 of getting the most out of Google Classroom webinar. After watching the playback of the video and going through the chat, there were 2 things that I forgot to mention, so I'm going to mention those now. So the first one is archiving and restoring your class and everything that goes with that. And then the second thing I want to talk about is accessing your Google Drive through your Google Classroom, which is pretty cool. So this is my main page, classroom.google.com. So let's say I want to archive this sample class. All I do is I click these 3 dots and I hit archive. But before I do that, let me talk about these other features. So you can do move. So you can actually move your classes to different spots. So I can hit that up button and it will move it to the very top. Or I can move it to the end. Then I can edit, which is like the gear option up top, and I can change the class name, section, subject, so on and so forth. And then I can copy, and copy will make an exact copy of this class. So if I set up one of my class periods, I can copy it and have it be ready to go for the rest. And then archive, what we wanted to talk about. So if I archive this class, it asks me if I want to be double sure, and I say yes. And then it's gone. But not really. It's right over here in the archived classes. So you can still access all the materials. It did not go anywhere. It just came off of your main page. So you notice right here, this is my sample class. And I can still open it up. I can still look. I can still see everything that's in there. If I go back to my archived classes, right here. If I want to restore this, I just simply hit the restore button, and then it will bring it right back to my original page, which is pretty cool. Here it is. So let me keep it archived to show you something else. So I'm going to archive it. Now, if I want to go to my sample class, I can still use posts from my archived class, which is very awesome. So right here, you notice sample class archived and it's green, so I know it's that one. If I click this, I can still post from that archived class. So like I said, your materials don't go anywhere, it just moves off of your main page. And then you can edit, schedule, post, do whatever you would like. I'm gonna X out of it. Okay, so that was archived classes. Now let me show you the Google Class Drive, which is pretty cool. So if I go to classwork, right up here, I have my Google Meet link, my Google Calendar, and my Class Drive folder. So if I click on this, I can assign students projects. I can have them create a Google Doc, create a slideshow, whatever they want in this Class Drive folder. Then I'm able to share it right up here, share, or get shareable link. So I can use this link, and then I can pop that onto Google Classroom, and they can access that and work remotely, yet still collaboratively together, which is awesome. So let me show you in one of my actual classes. Stick with my period 2, go to classwork and Class Drive folder. So this is gonna look a little overwhelming because all of my journals are considered shareable drives or shareable folders, so all of these. But for instance, if I look at my succession project, I have my students pick partners and then do a project on ecological succession. So they went to this link that I provided for them. I copied and pasted it into Google Classroom. And then it says only people with this link can add. You can make it GCISD if you want to make it just even easier to make sure that your students have access to it. And then I popped that into Google Classroom as a link, and then the students opened it, and they went over here, and then they hit Google Slides, and then they created and shared. I had them do heads or tails, and I had one partner do this, and then the other partner just opened it up after it was created. So let me make this quick. And my word processing skills again. And then there it is. So I'm gonna hit refresh just because I like to make sure it went through. And then if I go back here and hit refresh, thinking. There you go. You see my project that I just created. So then the tails partner, the one that didn't win, will go in, and then both of them can open up this slideshow and they can work collaboratively at the same time, but on their own documents, which is amazing. So let me show you how to add a new folder. So this is the Class Drive folder that I accessed by clicking Class Drive folder in my classwork, and it brought me to this. And anytime I want a new project, I just go to New Folder, and I type in sample, whatever I want to call it, and then I hit create. Notice I have a couple samples because I've done this a couple times. So then I go to get shareable link, and I just like to make sure the share settings are great. So you can either have people with link, or you can do Grapevine Colleyville, and then I can copy that link, and then I can post that into Google Classroom as an assignment or as a resource and have them access that from there. And you're not just limited to slideshows. You can have them working collaboratively on a Google Doc, a Google Drawing, even a Google Sheet. So I hope that was helpful. As always, reach out with questions, Gina, Gina.brown, BROWN, @gcisd.net. And yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed it and have a great summer. Bye. So I want to show you how I created this webinar recording. So I use Screencastify to create my part 2 video and this video that I'm creating right now. And then I uploaded the recording from the WebEx site of my webinar. So what I did was I went to my screencast, which I have a Chrome extension for. I went into my screencast and it looks something like this. So I had recorded my part 2 getting the most out of Google Classroom video. What I did was I went to Open in Editor and it opens a brand new editing screen. I wait for it to load, and then what I did was I hit Start a New Project. So I go over here to this drop down and I hit New Project. So this won't be here, or if you want, you can highlight this and then hit Delete and it will get rid of it. And then you can go here and hit New Project and it will hit OK. And then it will bring you to a brand new project right here that you're ready to go. Then I simply went to this blue plus sign and I hit it, and then I uploaded the video that I downloaded from my WebEx screen. You can also download from Google Classroom. So I hit this, upload, and then I accessed my Getting the Most Out of Google Classroom recording, the whole hour and 15 minutes of it. So since I started recording when I had my 10-minute timer set up, I did not want that on my recording. I didn't want people to have to fast forward. So this was the whole entire recording. You notice that there's little kind of spliced bubbles here. So what I did was this dragging tool, I dragged it until where I wanted to delete. So let's say I want to delete up until here, and then I kind of mark that spot. Then I went to the cut tool and it cuts that out. And then I simply deleted that, and it deleted that first 10 minutes or so of the webinar video. Now I can hit Control Z, and it gets rid of everything that I just did. So once I had the hour and 15 long minute video, I clipped out the first 10 minutes and then I clipped out the last 5 minutes because I was kind of finishing up and chatting with some people. Then once I had that all ready to go, I hit play. I kind of perused it to make sure that it was how I wanted it. Then I recorded my second video. So what I did was I hit this Chrome extension, and then I hit record a new video. Right now it's not going to let me because I'm recording. And then I did a walkthrough of Google Classroom of the few things that I missed. So notice how it's playing in the background. Then you can copy it to your Google Drive or get a link. It automatically sends it to your Google Drive actually. And then you can change the share settings. So unlisted, we would be that only GCISD can see it. So I already kind of talked to you about this in that original video. So then what I did was I downloaded this as an MP4. I went back to my original editing screen. I uploaded that video clip. So it's all the way at the end, and it takes a second for it to catch up. So right here, you're going to notice that it's my second part to my video. So it added it, it processed it, and it's ready to go. So I can clip it further if I want to, but it was great, so I'm not going to. And then now what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach this video of how I created it, the same exact thing, hit the plus sign, upload the video after I download it from Screencast. So I hope this was helpful. If y'all have any questions, reach out. Bye.